Hello everybody, welcome to today's analysis. I'm going to be doing a different kind of analysis than I normally do, and I think you guys will all really like it. I just saw something very interesting, just a couple different things on the LTC chart that I want to share with you guys. So we'll take a look at it. As you guys know in the Discord, I've been trading and following LTC quite a bit, and I've absolutely loved it. It's been a very volatile asset, respects the levels very, very well. So it's been a great asset to trade. So leading off from my last videos, when I see this here, to me, it looks like all of these lows are ripe for the taking, especially these ones here. Okay, these were some of these lows here where we kind of would have expected something like this. Oops, something like this here, come down, take them out, then get this pump. As a matter of fact, I think I drew that out. Yeah, you can see here. This is pretty much what I drew out from what I would have liked to have happened, and I drew it out when we were up here. Okay, so instead, my entries for this move got front ran. We didn't take out any of these lows like one would expect, and then simply pumped from there. And to me, it feels, for when I see things like this, it's like it's a looming, like a dump looming around the corner, right, waiting to happen, and it's going to be bigger than it would have otherwise had been had we just simply taken out these lows and then had continuation to the upside. So, you know, what I'm ultimately looking for then is one of a couple things. Either we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5, where we come up and tap this monthly, and then we get our move down, you know, looking somewhere at the very least in this 70 to 72 zone at the very least to start as a first level of support. Or we have a 1. We have a 1, A, B, C, 2, 3, right? And then we can do a 4 and a 5. Okay, so this would be a very different picture than obviously if we were just to come here and then have some degree of continuation to the upside, right? It would be a very dramatic move down. And again, when I look and see all of these untouched lows, you know, coming down to about 50 wouldn't surprise me. Now, looking further into it, what do I find are some patterns that suggest that that is exactly what would happen. Starting with this head and shoulders. So we do have a nice head and shoulders pattern here. The volume looks nice on it as well. Oftentimes people misclass a head and shoulders because they don't look at the volume. But if you have an increase of volume here on each of the moves down, you know, that would then be a signal that it is a proper head and shoulders. And we are seeing those increases of volume on these larger moves down. And we can see that as we've been going higher, right, as we've been sort of have been holding this uptrend, volume has been going down. So this doesn't, ultimately there's less demand, right, in this upper zone than what would be needed to have continuation to the upside, at least from what we're seeing right now. So that's one bit of confluence that we have there. And if we look at its targets, we can see that first it targets at about 50 with the 618 here on the Fibonacci extension tool, and then 41 at the 1-to-1 extension from the height of the head down to the trend, the neckline, and then, you know, down from here, right, where we would expect the break. So that's one form of confluence that we have here. Now, I do want to start by saying I personally do not like to trade head and shoulders. I find them unreliable because they're so easily recognized, right? But nonetheless, this does play out well, right? Come down to the neckline, take out these lows here that we left behind, get some degree of a bounce, back test this H6 order block, and then, have continuation to the downside doing, a 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of like what we talked about. And maybe I wouldn't even get so far as to say that the 4 would go this low. Maybe we just sort of do a deviation, give us our 4 here, and then, then we can have our move to the upside. Okay. Now here's another added bit of confluence to this head and shoulders. And this is, to me, is where things get interesting. Is not only do we have this head and shoulders, but we also have a Gartley harmonic. Okay. So this Gartley harmonic, it's actually really nicely put together. And what is a target is this weekly at about $50. The very same as the head and shoulders. So when I see two higher time frame forms of analysis, two patterns that are suggesting that we could see that move down, and I'm already skeptical of these lows having not been taken out and the decrease in volume as we get this move up, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this might be something that's on the table. Okay, so for me, when I first saw it, I'm not like, oh my God, I need to be shorting right away. We're definitely going down. No, that's not the case at all. Okay, so it's very possible that both of these patterns become invalidated and we, continue to see some degree of an upside. But like I said, just the way that they were presented to me, it's something that I personally can't ignore, right? So I am taking some trades now, not necessarily just based on that alone, but just based on other forms of analysis here that I'm, like I said, kind of looking at this move down, 1, A, B, C, having continuation down for then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down to our targets here. So doing a, 1, A, B, C, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, right? It just looks and plays out really, really nicely in accordance to that. Now, the other side of that would be, that this is instead a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which, could then to some degree invalidate this. With that said, however, this Gartley harmonic, right now we're at the 0.708. Typically, you would want to see, it's okay there, right? That's fine. But it'd be even better if we saw the 786 up here coming up to tap this monthly, then actually making this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we get our move down. So this area for me is a little bit tricky. I am personally short in the mid 75s. I've been kind of just like generally shorting in here. With that said, I would not be surprised if we did get this quick wick up, and then from there I would be extremely confident that we would then see a move to the downside, right? From here, I'm laddering. I'm probably half into my position. I think it looks decent. I like where it's at. I do, this whole thing I think like fits and it looks good. But if we were to get this move up here, I would be like, yeah, I'm definitely shorting this. I'm very much sold on this, and I would, ultimately, I of course I would be taking profit along the way at areas of support, but I would ultimately look to trade that short down to this zone. So it's something very interesting. I just wanted to take the time to make a video and point out to you guys because it is really a very interesting coincidence and confluence that we're seeing here on LTC right now, especially given that we rotated from the bottom of the range to the top, and now we may see then a rotation to the bottom of the range once again. So stay tuned. I will have another video out tomorrow, and we will be doing our live stream 6 p.m. EST, where we will be covering our usual assets, BTC, ETH, LTC, Matic, FTM, but we'll also look to do a start to finish analysis on a new altcoin as well. So make some time, stay tuned, and until then, I'll just be in the Discord